If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport's Same Game Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi Podcast. Thank you once again for tuning in or listening in, however you do divulge our content. We do love it. As always, we've got the boys that run through all the games. Out the left here, Matthew, Mark, Cherry, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, boys. Getting over Anzac Day.
Yeah.
What about yourselves?
I'm a bit better than you, I can tell you that.
Oh, well, there's two stories for Anzac Day, but both bad.
And Jared J. Rob Burton. Mate, how are you?
Fabulous, boys. It's good to be in here again. Just the usual, mate. Yeah.
Nice, rocking the nice hat, mate.
Yeah, rocking the pink, I am. I'm going to call it salmon. I'm repping the salmon hat. That's our Same Game Multi brand on the front. So.
Yes, nice new ones. Just came in yesterday, so plenty of those going out to our listeners and punters alike. Boys, we'll welcome in Tristan Merlehan joining us as well, right off the top of the show, CEO of TopSport. How are you, Tristan?
Yeah, very good, boys. It's been some funny old games on the weekend. There were some upsets, there were some tight games, and then some blowouts. So plenty to chat about, and it'll be interesting to see how we plough into next week. With I think there's 5 of the 8 games where the line's over 10 flat. So it'll be interesting if those lower ranked sides can hang with the top ranked guys this week.
Mate, the Tigers won 2 in a row. They'd be nearly premiership favourites now, wouldn't they?
They have got a bit of momentum. They're only one game out of the 8, and they have another winnable game on the weekend against the Dragons. Unfortunately, no Dane Laurie, though, is probably going to hinder them a little bit. But, the fans will be up and about, no doubt, knocking off 2 good teams as well.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, just on that premiership market, has there been any movement up the top? Still two-horse race out in front?
Yeah, it still appears to be a 2-horse race at the moment. We've got the Panthers at $2.60 and the Storm at $2.80 to Panthers, $3.60 to Storm. The Sharkies next best, they're at $7. The Roosters, the punters are still expecting them to finish the season strong despite sort of spluttering along at the moment. They're at $8, 4th favourite. Then Parramatta at 10. Then there's a big gap out to Manly and South Sydney, both at 21. But yeah, 2 clear favourites. There's been a little bit of interest in the wooden spoon market now, with the Bulldogs firm favourites at $2.25, the Tigers $4.20, but then a couple of teams that have come back into it. The Knights at $7.50 and the Warriors after their performance last week $12. So that's not all done and dusted just yet, but Bulldogs will need to get a wriggle on to avoid that one.
Mate, I think I had a sneaky 10 on the Knights to get the wooden spoon after our chat on their very first show of the year where you said the same thing about the Knights might drift down there if they have a couple of injuries. They haven't lost Kalen, but they have lost a few key players, so I'm hoping that one might come off for the charity as well.
Yeah, well, you never know, and if they hadn't, it's for their fans, I'm sure, though, that round 2 victory where they were 2-0 is a long way away. They looked gutsy for a while, but yeah, they were completely dominated, and they didn't look like they had the best attitude there on the weekend. So we'll see how they bounce back this week. They've got a lot easier game where they take on the Storm. So I'm sure all their fans will be excited about getting the 2 points there.
Yes, doesn't get any easier, that's for sure.
Tristan, mate, touching on the South Manly game, mate, is there much of a change in the market? Because currently at the moment, both sides don't look too convincing, but they're coming up against each other. Mate, talk to us about that.
No, they don't. And I think it was a tale of 2 halves there for Manly, where they were in a massive hole against the Sharks, and whether the Sharks took the foot off the gas or whether Manly showed a bit of spine and backbone to come back into the game. So they're $2.40 underdogs. The Rabbits just look clunky without Latrell, without Adam Reynolds, and without Dane Gagai. They're missing 3 key players. We know Turbo's out for Manly as well. So they're $1.60 favourites. I'm not convinced they should be that short. I think this game is a pretty close game. The problem for Manly, though, at compounds is that they are missing a bit of grunt up the middle, although Marty Tapau looks like he'll be back this week. So 244 flat. It should be a really, really good game. 39.5 the total points. Don't forget this game's being played at Gosford.
Yeah, I did see that. Mate, is there a market as to whether Morgan Harper will get another start this season after his poor performance up against Talakai on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure he won't be too keen to watch the replay of that one. It was, to be fair, I don't think many people would have been able to stop Talakai the way he was going. But yeah, I'm sure he'll probably pop back into that side around the Origin period. But he'll need to work on his defence, because I know they were spotting him the back end of last year as well. So it's not like it was a once the only time it's occurred. So he'll be going back to the drawing board in New South Wales Cup, I'm tipping, and trying to put in some good, solid defensive efforts.
100%. Also, mate, big game, Eels versus the Cowboys. I think this will probably be the game of the round, to be honest. Cowboys are outperforming what all of us probably thought at the start of the season. I think they're second in the competition as far as defence goes. Eels coming off that big victory last week up against the Knights. How do you see this one playing out? And is there any money going for the Cowboys?
Don't forget this game's in Darwin as well, so it's at that neutral venue, and the Cowboys are $3.80 plus 10.5. So they're certainly getting a lot of points. They're defending really, really well, and they've been on a good winning run. Now, probably the asterisk you've got to put on their form line is that they really haven't played any of the contenders other than when they played the Roosters, and the Roosters dominated them. So the Eels are coming off a pretty comprehensive victory as well. So I think this is the yardstick for the Cowboys. If they can aim up and they can continue to defend how they have against some of the other sides that they've beaten over the last while, then they'll be the real deal. But we need to see how they go this weekend. Now, 40.5 the total points. There hasn't been a lot of points other than when Parramatta played Brisbane last game at Darwin, when they played up there up north. There's sometimes a bit of weather around as well. So just keep an eye on that, because I think sometimes with the hot and sticky conditions, people expect there to be overs. But I think that'll probably suit the Cowboys, and I think it might be, if they continue to defend well, the under 40.5 might not be a bad bet.
Yeah, Birdo doesn't perform very well in hot and sticky conditions either, mate. So the ladies tell me anyway.
That's a fact. One of the other games there, Tristo, that's a bit hard to pick as well, is the two sides that no one thought would win the last 2 weeks. That's the Dragons and Tigers. Mate, which way are the punters favouring for this game?
Yeah, well, we've got the Dragons' favourite. They're $1.58, $2.40. The Tigers, the lines are flat 4. On face value, I probably thought it was a bit wide just with the Tigers being in good form. But I think a lot of their sparks come from Dane Laurie, so it's a shame that he's not playing this weekend. We've got Jack Bird, who has been named. He'll be a very, very tough man if he plays, considering what happened to him last week. But he's been named at the moment and yet to be ruled out. So $1.58 the Dragons, $2.40 the Tigers, a flat line of 4. You wouldn't think either, even the most confident or optimistic of either of these two fans 2 weeks ago would have said that we could be in the finals in 3 weeks' time. But the winner of this of this game will potentially find themselves in the top 8, which is amazing. The amazing turnaround shows how tight that 8th spot is. That if you can get a few wins strung together, you can really turn the season around. But good to see both of these sides starting to win a couple of games.
Mate, just quickly as well, I remember the other week you were saying you got a little market there for the top Queensland side to finish this year. With the Cowboys improving in the last few weeks, mate, has that turned into the Cowboys being favourites?
Yeah, the Cowboys are very firm favourites in that market. They've been well backed, and just bringing it up here, they're around about the $1.50 mark now, with the Titans at $3 and the Broncos at $3. So they're certainly the shortest of the options at the moment. But I think this week, if you're a Cowboys fan, this is the one that you're going to be tuned into, because they need to perform against the top-ranked sides if they're going to maintain that run, because they probably have a very fortunate draw, and they've taken advantage of it. And yeah, we'll see if they can get the job done, or at least be competitive this weekend.
Cheers, mate.
Fantastic, mate. Anything else you want to talk to Tristan about, boys, before we let him go? He's a busy man.
Mate, what do you think the odds are of you having 100 on Parramatta to win the comp?
I do a lot of donations to charity throughout our time at TopSport, but I don't even think I'm going to burn the money that easily.
Fair shout.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Tristan. As I mentioned, head on over to the website, topsport.com.au. Sign yourself up. Use the code SGM Podcast. Great company, great supporter of our show, and we do appreciate you and everything you've done for us. Thanks for coming on, mate. We'll talk again next week.
Speak next week, boys. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
See
Bye.
you, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
100 on the Eels. What do you got on them?
Nothing. Actually, very, very fair point. And I was going to bring that up when we speak about the game, is by taking the game to Darwin, I thought, if you're going to take someone to Darwin, wouldn't you take the Raiders or a Melbourne to perhaps to Darwin, where the conditions don't suit them at all?
I remember a good handful of years ago, it was a Roosters home game. We played the Cowboys and they moved it up to Darwin. And I thought, it's a bit of a weird call and stuff, but, it's good that they're promoting footy. We got walloped, I think it was like 32-6. They gave us an absolute caning. So, yeah, They're very dangerous up there.
Do they usually take the Cowboys up there though? Or
No,
is
so
it-
last year it was Brisbane.
It's changes
and
every
give
year, okay.
pump them. But yeah, that's I think it's just part of the game. Do you remember many years ago that I think it was the Rabbitohs may have taken a side to Western Australia.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
played at Docker Stadium and they had something like 100 mil during the game. I do remember that. They were sliding. They couldn't even see where the corner, the corner of the lines and sidelines and whatever else were, mate. There was so much water on the field, but no, they generally take a game up there all the time. But like I said, it favours them. But then again, too, I'm pretty sure Manly take one of their home games to Brisbane. I'm pretty sure. So they play Brisbane in Brisbane, which at the moment, because Brisbane is shit, it might as well class it as a home game. But yeah, I sort of worry about that. If you're going to take someone up there, would you take, say, the Canberra Raiders, Melbourne, someone like that who aren't acclimatised to those conditions? So
It's going back a few years ago. Those Monday night games when Canberra played, they were just devastating down there. Cold weather, drizzly rain.
pack a scrum and you can't see what's on the other side because
Yeah.
there's that much steam coming off.
Boys, we ran out of time with Tristan. He had other commitments, but we forgot to do didn't get time to do our TopSport top that moment of the round. I did win last week again, I believe. So we don't have a judge this
About
week,
time.
so we'll just declare from now that I'll win again this week by default. Boys, but I'm going to go Jacob Little with his chase on Lachlan Ilias. In the Tigers versus South game. It kind of just showed their commitment. I think if that same play happened 4 weeks ago, he wouldn't have made that tackle. He just wouldn't have been committed to it. So he chased from about 60 metres back. He was in the middle of the field, break down the right-hand side and tackled him about 2 metres out. Great legs tackle and prevented the try and a crucial part of the game as well. So that's it for me, boys.
Was that right at the end of the game, from memory?
Not
Or
right
quite?
at the end, but towards the back end, yeah.
Well, mine's another chase situation, but not a player. The water boy from the Melbourne Storm game
Yes.
with the
How
red
good.
sort of a mullet, fanging down from about the 50-metre mark, matched the Who's with
Jerome Hughes.
Jerome Hughes. Geez, he had some speed on him.
Pappenhausen was on the outside of him too. He could have just put the foot down and blown past the ball boy.
I was watching and I was just hoping, I just wishing and praying that he did the old dive with Jerome Hughes at the same time.
yes,
Like
yes.
synchronised. Like they would have just topped it off, I reckon. He got a pick with Jerome Hughes I seen there on social media.
Yeah,
So.
I think he was in the change room, in the Melbourne Storm change room after the game. I think.
Yeah,
so.
right. That might be signing him up.
Yeah, get on him before the Tigers and the Bulldogs get on him, boys. I've got two. Now I'm torn between. I don't know which one to go, but so Corey Horsburgh's massive shot flew out of the line, leading by example in what I thought that was some of the best 40 minutes of football I've seen all year between the Raiders and Penrith. Flew out of the line and drove young Sorensen. And the other one I'm with is just the last 2 days of football this weekend had 192 points scored in it. Now, there were some blowouts in there, and, not everyone's a fan of blowouts, but I tell you what, that's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Tries, and it's good for a little multi too if you got a couple of try scorers.
scorers.
But, mate, talk about entertainment.
Well, the first month of footy, it was really hard to get your multis up with any time try scorers because all the games were going under. There was only 2 or 3 try scorers a game. So if you got 2 or 3 try scorers in your multi, very hard to pick that when there's only 3 total. So it's good to see a few tries getting scored, especially in that Storm game. Well, they have 12 or 13 tries, I think.
What was it? It was 14.
14-10 at half time, and they scored 56 unanswered points. The Warriors, I think, completed 2 sets in the second half and only had the ball 4 times. It was just a dominant performance.
Point a minute. You don't see that real often.
Crazy.
We were saying before, I could be wrong, but with the Nathan Brown, when he played for the Dragons, I think this is where I could be wrong. It could have been his last game against Melbourne. They got beat 70-10, and his last game coaching against Melbourne got beat 70-10. So, what a shame, Nathan Brown.
They had a photo of him with his massive locks and whatever else.
I remember that 70-10 game against the Dragons. That's how fucking old I am. 2000, I think it was. After the 99 grand final, I think it was, Chock Mundine come out and said that they should have been the premiers.
Got pumped.
Melbourne pumped them the next time they played, 70-10. So
Well, I don't remember that because I was only
you'd
6.
be in nappies, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Still in nappies.
Still on the apron, boys.
Very good. We'll have to get to our TopSport top that moment next week with Tristan. Hopefully, we'll have a bit more time. It was our fault this week. Boys, how about our...
You are off. Don't talk to me.
Send
Just
off.
go.
Who are we sending off
He
this
has
week?
been
Anyone
sent off.
griping your gears?
Everyone.
I've got one. I'll start while you boys have a think, but it's the reaction to the Daniel Tupou incident. with the sacking of the referee and the bunker referee and trying to find accountability and all this kind of stuff. They got the call wrong. You know, he probably should have gone to the bin. I think it did bounce up off the ball, but he did hit him in the head. Not going to touch too much on it. I'm sure it was being played to death, but I don't know what sacking one of the best referees, who I think is Adam G. I think he's one of the best. Don't know why you sacked him. It's not going to do anything. You got to call wrong. Just move on. Players don't get sacked for dropping the ball 10 times each game, unless you're Morgan Harper. But I just can't see the point in that. Obviously, they're only doing it as to save face, I think, to show that they've actually done something. But just move on, just get it done. He won't do the same thing next week.
Absolutely, I think. But the reason why they do that's just to make it visually obvious that the NRL are, or like so the referees
that's right.
are on top, which is bullshit. Maybe because he's got a mustache very similar to, and he's got that porno mustache like Morgan Harper. Harper's been dropped, so the referees are going, well, we're up next. So
they might be coming for our fucking filming equipment this week.
Could be. Boys, my send off. I've been stewing on it. Is the big red Horsburgh again got shot by the media for blowing a bubble of chewing gum during the Anzac the start. You know, I'm extremely patriotic and I think Anzac Day is one of my favourite days on the calendar. But mate, chewing some chewing gum during the warm up, fair income, and the media are just blowing up about that. Are the media going out looking for something?
It must have been a slow news week, honestly, because that was a beat up, I reckon.
100%.
He blew a bubble. He probably didn't even realise he was doing it. I know myself, when I've got chewing gum, I'll make that clicking noise and people look at me. I don't even know I'm doing it. So, I'm with you, mate.
I've got a few.
Oh, here we go. Anyway, we only got 4 minutes left in this segment.
All them horses that didn't win on Monday.
The whole Roosters side fucking got. The blow up with Kalen Ponga's manager sitting with him at the conference. Who fucking cares? Really? Who cares? I reckon it's the first time it's been done. Never happened years ago. Was back then they never really had managers, and there was never like signings like this. And
so Wayne Bennett was sitting with him. His manager. I thought you said his dad.
I just think that was a bit out of proportion, taken
Ponga,
too
not
far.
Darius Boyd.
Oh, sorry.
That was just taken a bit too far as well. I think it is sort of reaching for angles on how to have some bad press. I think
there you go again. It seems to be the media. We can't say too much about the media because technically we are part of the media.
Sort of. We're the good media.
Yeah, good media.
Yeah, people want to talk to us. Anything else, mate? Keep going. What else you got?
Oh, I could rave on for days, mate.
Then damn horses on Monday.
The other one was the Panthers Viking clap.
Yeah, I thought that was very disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not so much disrespectful.
I'm all for taking the mickey and having a crack, but fuck.
Yeah, I think that was just blown up as well. Too many blow-ups over the weekend.
Yeah, let's get some positives happening.
Like to look past the...
Oh, did you get any bets up on the weekend?
Well,
is that another one?
No. So I was made a few good predictions last week. Remember I said Sharks win by about 10 points? Almost picked that one. Fox had scored 2. He did, but I backed the Dogs and they let me down at the end of the second half there. Back races all day on Anzac Day. Not one red cent come back to my wallet. Horrible day. I had about an 8.5, 9 hour session down at the Whitebull, and you get $1 return.
No wonder Tristan said he was up off air.
Yeah, no wonder money. That's why I didn't see it 2 up, because you'd already done your ass and had gone home.
I was in bed by about 7:30. Just disgraced.
Couple Panadol and an early night.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back straight after this with J-Rod segment. Stick around.
Having a bet on sport this week? Top this.
Whether you're into cricket and curling or golf and greyhounds, TopSport will let you on for plenty. And with literally hundreds of markets from your own backyard to the international stage, TopSport has you well covered. So if you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport.
Top that. Download the app today. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back, rehydrated. Thank you very much to the Whitebull Hotel. We'll get to that a bit later on. Berto's going to kick us off with his segment now, mate, the Ultimate Player Performance.
Ultimate Player Performance, yeah. So the ratings are, for those who are new to this segment, basically we'll rattle off half a dozen names or a couple of names. Basically, we'll give them a rating on what they were last year. This is our thoughts exactly. You don't like it, lump it. we'll give you basically our rating last year, and we'll give them what their ratings are now. So I understand it's only early in the season, but we're not here to make friends. So we'll kick it off, boys. Last year, I'm going to give this bloke a 9. Reed Marnie. This year, I'm going to give him a 9.
What are you going to give next year when he's at the Bulldogs? 6?
0.
No, you still cut about that?
Yes and no. It's a good thing because, we didn't pay massive overs for him to keep him, which for many years Parramatta have. Not so much Parramatta. A lot of clubs have done that. They paid overs to keep players. Now, he is a player worth paying overs for, but at the same time, that's how clubs come into trouble, and I think Parramatta have done that numerous times in the last couple of years, last decade, so to speak, sort of thing. And it also frees up a bit of salary cap space for me to join them down there. So I'm going to be running water up and down the sideline. I'll only be good for 20 metres, but
pay 6 pack and 4 and 20 pies.
That's it. So I'm going to give him a 9 this year. Very close to giving him a 10, but I can't put him where Nico Hines is at the moment. So Nico Hines is my only 10. I'll give him a 10 out of 10 last week. So I'm going to give him a 9.
I'll go 8.5 from last year, but 9 this year. I think he's going to be one of them players that'll fix the Dogs next year. It'll get him out of that rut where they're looking good, but they can't get over the line, can't finish. I reckon he might be someone there. Bit more direction. With his game style as well, working with Fitzy, they'll be able to work something out.
Yeah,
and it's going to be
if he's still there.
Should be. He'll be there.
I like what you say there. Actually, now you say that because their number 9 attack, just general play. Now I'm not having a crack at anyone that's there now, but in that they lack that spark inside that last 20 metre mark, which I think he is excellent for Parramatta in around that 20 metre mark, arranging short balls. He knows exactly what's going on. Bang, he'll drop one to Paulo, and as soon as Paulo catches it, he turns around and he's arguing with the troops and getting them into line. So I
think I fucked up there. I said Fitzy. I mean Gus Gould. I'm looking at the Sharks here.
Barrett. He'll be lucky to have a
I think Barrett will be there.
I'm going to start doing some coach ratings. But
yeah,
I like what you say there. Actually, it'll improve.
I'm going to give him an 8 this year, and the reason being a couple of games I have watched of them, and they've been the close games. He's made that wrong decision from that dummy half when they've been trying to set up for the field goal. He's gone left a couple of times when Mitch and Moses was set up. I can't remember who they played. It was the second or third game.
Tigers was one of them.
Yeah, and he went left to Dill Brown and ended up going into touch or something like that, whereas Mitch Moses, you could see him blowing up a bit. Just a few of those little decisions, which he'll get right, it comes with experience. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go on 8. And to be honest, I probably haven't watched a lot of Parramatta games closely this year to sort of take notice of what he does, but I agree with you. He's good in that 20, those short balls to Paulo, Campbell Gillard, and when he does pass long, he hits the mark.
He's very
really
accurate,
well.
yeah.
He can throw that long pass, and he usually throws it off the ground too, which is only fractions of a second.
But it's the old saying of give time to make time. If you can pass off the ground and hit someone on the chest, mate, that's
and generally out in front too. So I'm going to go an 8. Yeah, definitely not up in the Nico Hines. I think I gave Nico a 9, so I have to drop him down one for that.
Righto, boys. The next one is James Fisher Harris. Now last year he was super damaging. I'm going to give him an 8 from last year. I'm probably going to give him an 8 again. Super consistent. Gives his 100% for Penrith. He's constantly punching the ball up. His work rate for a big dude, he's like a Junior Paulo, a Nelson, a Sofa Solomon, a big dude. So they don't have a lot in the tank. But I tell you what they don't have in the tank, they make up with 100% effort. So I'm going to give him an 8.
I'm going to go a bottle opener difference from you for both years. I'm going to go 8.5s on both. One of them players, if he's not there, you can tell that he's not there.
They miss him.
Definitely damaging with the ball. It's one of those guys with a presence as well, isn't he?
100%.
If he's there, he just puts a bit of that fear factor into the smaller guys and stuff. They don't want to sort of get too close to him.
You pack a scrum. And you try, rearrange it so you can get some big men or little men in the outsides. You imagine if you had like a little second rower packing in the front row and you got to bind in with him. So he's a big dude. And as you said, he brings a lot of presence.
Not just at Christmas either.
Yeah.
I'll go at 8 as well. I love Fish, one of my favourite players. Very consistent. Missed a few games at the start of this season. He was out injured, I believe. So he probably still building up, I believe, so he can probably even get better than what he was. But yeah, last year I reckon he's one of the best props in the game, and I think he'll probably be there again this year as well. So I'm going to go an 8 as well, boys. I think you went 8.5, Jez, so I'm with you.
Very consistent. We're picking some goodies here.
And massive arms. He's got the biggest arms
mate,
in the NRL.
he's
Huge.
Be up there with Hulk Hogan, I reckon.
Yeah, the whole old Hulkster. Eat your vitamins and say your prayers, boys. Lads, listeners, viewers, last one, and it's I like the dude, and I give him millions and millions of praise. So he's recently offered to take a massive pay cut to attract better players.
Chad Townsend?
No, definitely not. Boys, Joshy Jackson from the Doggies. A couple of years ago, I'd say that he was the only dude in that entire squad that'd get a start at say, a Roosters or a Souths or a Manly or a Melbourne or something like that. Boys, at the moment, I had him at a 7 last year, super consistent. But the way he's been playing this year, you can tell. I'm not sure if it's a bit of age or whether he's just put it in the can't be fucked basket. But I'm going to give him a 5 this year. Now that sort of contributes to it doesn't help that the players around him aren't helping him, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give him a 7 from last year. I'm going to give him a 5 for this year for performance, but I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 for his off field. When he said he's willing to take a massive pay cut so they can sign better players.
I reckon maybe a 7. I don't go too high. Probably a 7 from last year. Just seeing one of the only guys on that side that was actually really trying every game there for the full 80 minutes. One of the older players, obviously, this year. He's still got some quality in him. I think it's just that age factor maybe letting him down a little bit. So this year I'll let him drop slightly and take him down to a 6. I don't know if he's going to play next year or not. We'll see what happens, and he might get a bit more of a spur on when they get some bit more leadership for that side.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you score. How you score as well. If you're scoring it out of just the Bulldogs players, he's a 10 because he's the best player. You know what I mean? But if you're scoring across the board for that position and everything like that, then that obviously changes. I think he's getting old, tired, and weary. There's only so long you can do what he's been doing. He's had a few bad head knocks too recently as well. So watch this space. If he gets 1 or 2 more bad ones this year, he might be doing a Boyd Cordner.
Yeah, well, he got jammed on the weekend, came back on with headgear.
Yeah, he got smashed. Was that last weekend, the week before?
It might have been the week before, sorry, yeah.
With head clash with his own player.
And I couldn't tell the difference. If it wasn't the camera was behind that you could see their number, I couldn't tell the difference between he and Burton because they both wore black headgear in the Bulldogs outfit and they're hard to tell apart. But
yeah. I'll go with Jez. I'll go a 6 this year. I don't want to give him anything below half average because he's always above average for me. And yeah, big shout to offering to take a pay cut.
Beg your pardon?
Pay cut. C-U-T. Edit that one out.
Whoopsie.
Rubbish. But he might only. I think he's only got 1 more year left in him, to be honest. If he makes it, watch his space for the concussions.
Yeah, so unfortunately he's lost his origin jersey because of that too, that little bit of a form slump and the fact of probably his age and the fact that Laurie Daly just had that little group. He's like a teacher. You get those kids that get chockies up the front of the class and they'll, get over there. No one likes it. Yeah, anyway, but boys, that'll wrap that up, the peak performance raters.
Had a pretty good feedback from a few listeners, mate, on that.
I did. 2 of them were tipped in by listeners, so they were. There was Joshy Jackson was one of them, and Reed Marnie was the other. So
let us know your thoughts on our player ratings. If you agree, disagree, let us know. And as Birdo said last week, if you've got a player that you want us to rate, let us know in the comments down below. Hit us up on our socials somewhere, and we'll include that in next week's as well. But yeah, I like the coaches, mate.
I might sneak one of them in next week.
It's good. Might do a coaches one. All right, boys, we've got a bit of time left in this segment. Do we want to hit beer of the week or do we want to...
Let's go beer of the week, eh?
Let's do it.
Stay silent for a minute. All right, the intro's done. All right, what do we got, mate? Thanks to the Whitebull Hotel, as always, great sponsors of the show. They stitched you up last week. It was the lowest beer rating I think we've ever done. But this week might be a bit different.
Wasn't so much a stitch up. I actually hand-picked that thing last week. Hawkeye was
you're to
busy.
blame.
So I am mainly to blame. They actually put it on tap today down at the White Bull. And I seen one of the bosses sample it once he put the line cleaner through and got some running through, and his face looked like one of those kids when they have a lemon for the first time. So I don't know how popular it's going to be. But
If
anyway,
you do like that beer, head on down to the White Bull, get yourself a schooner.
Absolutely. There's an audience, otherwise they wouldn't.
that's
wouldn't
right.
Make it.
That's right. Now, these things here, I seen them getting unloaded last week. We couldn't use them on the show last week because they weren't put through the system. They're on the system. A Blue Moon Belgian white style wheat beer. Now, they're brewed with Valencia orange peels. They're very, very smooth. They don't have too much of a fizz to them. 1.4 standards. I quite like them. They have a different texture to them. They're not smooth as in like a Northern or a dry. They're smooth as in like almost they have a slight creamy texture to them without being sickly. Slides down the throat very easily. But
I didn't know we were drinking Guinness.
Does it hit the back of the throat and come back up?
no, these are good. What do you reckon, Berto? I reckon these are...
Yeah, these actually pretty good. I'm going to give these a quality rating. And like the first couple of sips, I thought, it's like a little bit sweet.
Can you taste? Is that the orange? Can you taste the orange?
Oh, I can taste the
Slightly. You get this
hops,
there's a sweety
yeast.
bitterness to it, and that'll be from that peel.
bit of pastrami in there or something.
Travis Pastrana.
Pastrami. The old Blue Moon by Elvis. I'm going to call this the Elvis beer.
Wasn't there a poker machine called the Blue Moon?
There was. It had the dolphins on there. They used to make the when you got those.
Oh, yes.
YCW
I remember that.
days.
So I'm going to give this, for a start, it's a twist top. And it is actually pretty damn good. I'm going to give this 4. And because it's a twist top, it's easily to access. It's going to get 4.5, boys. It's actually pretty good beer.
It is.
Score.
It's not a 5, but it's definitely not under a 4. Very surprisingly delicious. I'm going to go 4.5 too. 4.5.
Nice, stubby little rating. Brand new to the Whitebull Hotel. Head on down, get yourself a 6-pack or a carton, preferably a carton because they are good if you go off the boys' rating.
The more you buy, the more you save.
Don't
When you
forget,
buy them
too,
cartons.
at the Whitebull, it's drive-through as well. You don't even have to leave the vehicle.
And it's covered so you don't get wet when it's raining.
Fact.
Just like Macca's.
Don't get the kids
Fantastic.
out of the car. Leave them in the boot.
See, Lee.
Fill up the car seats with the cartons.
Yeah.
I don't get them out when I play the pokies either. So.
Crack the window.
We've still got a bit of time, boys. This is great. Let's hit a couple of games, eh?
Let's hit it.
First game should be a cracker. Broncos up against the Sharks. This one's being played Thursday, 7:50 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. Looking at odds here, boys. Broncos outsiders at $4. Sharkies heavy favourites at $1.26. The line set at 11.5. You get the Broncos at the plus for $2 or the Sharkies at the minus for $1.80. I'm going to say 2 words, boys. Talakai, Stags. Cannot wait.
Yeah. Just looking at the sides versus sides from jerseys number 1 through to 5. It's going to be a good little matchup out there, I think.
Yep.
It's going to be very good. I don't think it's going to be what's the word? No, there'll be not anything vicious or malicious happening and stuff. It's just going to be
be a good battle.
some good hard footy, I reckon. Should be very good to watch. Who do you reckon is going to win that little battle, though?
Oh, I don't know. Stags has been in great touch the last 3 weeks, but so has Talakai. Last week, mate, that performance in that first half was one of the best performances. I didn't actually see it. I was out, but I've seen the replay of it. But you look at Joey Johns and Freddie Fittler, they're saying it's the best performance from a centre they've ever seen. And, we're speaking to Tommy Turbo in Origin last year, like just better than that. So, I don't know, it'd be a crack. I just can't wait. I just hope it lives up to the hype of it. They will be opposing each other as well. When they first said, I thought, oh no, they're playing opposite side. Then I thought about it, no, they will be opposing. So it should be good.
Now, I actually
pushing for Origin.
I actually only got to see the first half of that game. I missed the second, and then I checked my phone later, and it was the comeback, and I was like, oh shit, that was
You didn't hear Bert, the newspaper, reading it going, it was excellent. You watching the second half of it, he was fucking miserable.
And I was having a beer with one of our listeners actually on Anzac Day, Matty
Give him a rap.
Jackson.
Jacko.
Matty Jackson. Apart from fucking staging me all Roosters game, we had a really good day. He's a big Shark supporter. He said Talakai didn't get to touch the ball much during that second half.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were pushing out the right hand side when they did have the ball, so that might have been part of the comeback factor there. But it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this.
I tell you one thing about that game too. As much as you like playing in the wet and that sort of stuff, it has that, it's raining. But I tell you what, when it's 50-something kilometre winds, heading either it's a headwind or a tailwind, and it pissed down absolutely torrential there for a while. Like, mate, you can't get any worse conditions than that. And I tell you what, when people go, you get the wind's behind you, the wind was behind you. I'm telling you, your halfback's kicking from the 20 to 20. They're kicking massive metres.
Yeah, well, all the points got scored with the wind except for the penalty goal.
Now, I don't want to be the negative Ned, but has Talakai come up against anyone good in the last 3 weeks, but?
Dane Gagai. Gave it to Dane Gagai, who was the form centre.
No, I said good.
Hey, look at the numbers, mate. He was the form centre to start the year.
Probably about 4 years ago.
Morgan Harper, I don't know if he'll ever come up against him again because he might not get a start. The
bloke probably hasn't
He'll
slept.
have nightmares, that fella, honestly. Yeah, fair call, but he did come up against Gagai.
With all respect, that is too.
But this will be a good test up against Stags, who's in good touch. He started the year very quiet until he obviously listened to the show and heard me giving it to him, decided to have a crack. He's been in good touch. But, boys, just looking at the
motivation
at the teams there, Dale Finucane comes back in after missing last week with the head knock.
I think he might have had last week off to record that little guitar session that he done. Did you see that?
No.
Can't he?
Loves a little
Oh,
guitar.
yes, he can play good, can't he?
Yeah.
And McInnes moves back to the bench there, boys, as well. So whose mould is this?
That's mine. Big Wade Graham
What do
in
you
the
think?
reserves.
I was going to say Wade Graham. Might.
He's a bit like Joshy Jackson. One
Yeah,
more
he
head
is.
knock, he'll be gone, I think,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
fact.
Kick us off with your mouldy, mate, then we'll take a quick little break.
Very conservative this week after last week's miserable performance of punting. I've gone Sharks giving 11.5 start to the Broncos, over 42.5 total points scored. Sione Katoa and Talakai anytime try scorers, $5.92 through TopSport.
Yeah, not a bad price, little 4 legs. Couldn't find a try scorer for Broncos made, or
I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide between Cobbo, Farnworth and Stags. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do, so I thought
just to put none of them.
throw all doubts out and just leave it as a 4-legger.
Yep.
Fair enough. Sounds fair. All right, we better take a break, otherwise we will run out of record time. But we'll be straight back after this to jump into the other game. Stick around.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing TopSport's best of the best multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget Bob Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Right, let's jump into the other 7 games. Next up, we've got the Titans up against the Panthers Friday, 6 p.m. at Seabus Super Stadium. We did plan to go this game, but it didn't pan out, unfortunately. We'll get up there to another one a bit later on. But looking at the odds, boys, Titans, heavy outsiders, $8.25, and the Panthers are the favourites there at $1.08. The line is set at 20, with the Panthers at the plus for $1.90, or the Titans at the plus for $1.90, or the Panthers at the minus for $1.90 as well. Panthers been good, mate. What is it, 7 from 7 now? I can't see them.
I was going to say,
Losing,
at
can you?
this point, it could be 27 from 27. But I tell you what, big listener of the show, I know that for a fact. He's at Holbrook up there at the Titans.
Justin.
Finally listened to me and put AJ Brimson at fullback.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
I just think he's experienced there. Not I don't want to take too much away from Campbell, but if it's like having a Billy Slater and a Pappenhausen comes in as good as Pappenhausen is, Billy Slater was never going to get taken out of that one position. But at the same time, they are very, very talented in their spots. It could be.
There's some changes. I was just
I was just about to say we got some.
like an essay.
I was going to say
you could say it was a Herman essay. Oh, yeah. See what I did there?
Fact. That's enough of you. This will be interesting. And it could be more interesting about this is the fact that it's going to be on a flat, dry, fast track, and this is going to suit Penrith even more. Their line speed, they play the balls. Mate, this is going to be a real good game of football if you're a Penrith supporter.
Just touching on those changes there. So Brimson's obviously at fullback, like you just mentioned. Phil Sami, he's back on the wing. Paddy Herbert's back to the centre so he can hold on to those balls and not pass them again. Will Smith, 5'8", with Asako being out of the starting side. Don't mind Asako, he cops too much flack in my eyes. Penrith Panthers, they stay the same. I don't think you change anything there anyway, unless there was an injury or someone was sick.
Going to be interesting to see what they do when Toto comes back. I think he's due back maybe next week or the week after. It's got to be Charlie Staines.
I was going to say
they can't get rid of Taylor May.
No,
he's actually playing super good football.
But the thing is, May plays on the left, so does Toto. So they're either going to have to get rid of May and put Toto in his place, or they're going to have to swap one of them and
just
take out Charlie.
Yeah, someone's got to be the sacrificial lamb, unfortunately. But
well, if it's going on last week's form, I'm going to get rid of Charlie Staines because he let me Mouldy down. So
I'll put Tyler where he likes to play and just moving May across that. Just makes sense.
Just ask Toto where he wants to play.
But can you imagine Toto outside Stephen Crichton on that right edge? That'd be pretty good too. Good headache to have, I suppose, if you're the coach, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a bad problem to have, yeah.
And we say this now, there could be bloody injuries all weekend and put the mocker on.
Oh, here we go. The old kiss of death over here.
Boys, I was just going to talk about Nathan Cleary. What do you think his form's like? Is he obviously missed a few games at the start of the season with that shoulder injury? Do you think he's peaking yet, or is he still on the rise?
Mate, he's in cruise control, that bloke. He is a damn good footballer. Good footballer.
I was going to say, he's not doing much, but that's just his normal game.
Yeah.
He's not coming out having a big superstar.
Is it because he does so much every week that it doesn't look like he does much?
I think so.
But he's damn good.
That's what I'm sort of trying to explain out of my mind.
Yeah.
He does that much. He does it all the time.
It doesn't help himself.
He doesn't have superstar rounds because he just plays like it all the time. He doesn't have to excel and do,
Yeah.
As opposed to peaking and doing this. So
mate, his kicking game has been solid all year.
Yeah.
Boys,
there's no faults with him.
Absolutely. So Appy Coruscant's gone next year from Penrith. Boys, did you catch a glimpse of Sony Luke come off the bench last week?
Only when he was huffing and puffing after about 20 minutes.
Mate, he was
struggling. I didn't see
he
much
was
of the
really
game,
good,
to be
but
honest.
it was super under condition. So
Yeah.
I'd say he'll have that 14th jersey for a long time now. I think he'd be, because they've got to bleed him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Coruscant, I tell you what, the way he's playing, Coruscant might find himself at 14.
Yeah, right.
But he's playing a damn good start. But I haven't said that was one game. He might have had to win behind him too. So
where's Coruscant going to the Tigers or something, is he?
Yeah.
That'll help them next year. He's a good player, I like him. Who's Mouldy? Who's yours again?
Mine,
Chance?
boys, mine again. Excuse me. Now, I said last week, I've been back with the Titans for a few weeks, and I said last week after they lost that, I'm going to jump off them. Little did I know this week they were playing the Panthers, so I would have backed the Panthers anyway. Nice and conservative again. Targo, Liam Martin, anytime try scorers, over 43.5 points for the total score, $8.33.
that's good.
Good price.
I reckon there'll be numerous tries. I just wanted to keep it nice and simple. Yeah, and a very good price for those three legs.
Liam Martin gets across the line a lot late in the game too, when there's tight forwards in the middle after they just get worked over by the big forward pack.
They might not score any points for the first 30 minutes, but I tell you what,
Wear them down.
just grind them, grind them, and I think that's how they eventually came over the Raiders, beat them through the middle.
It's actually just looking at the Titans pack there. Brian Kelly's playing number 3. I thought it would have been for Feeder, but they might change that next week.
He'll still be out in the centres.
Just won't have a number on his back. Move along, boys. South v Manly. This is the second game on Friday, 7:55 p.m. This is as Tristan said, Central Coast Stadium. As we touched on before, boys, South's $1.60 favourite. Manly $2.40 outsiders. The line is set at 4 straight. South at the minus for $1.90 and Manly at the plus also for $1.90. Both teams coming off a loss last week. South at 1 point loss to the Tigers and Manly that devastating first half against the Sharkies, but then came back and scored 22 unanswered points, again, as we spoke about, with the win behind them. They were off last week. I liked Manly last week at the $2.80. Didn't like them after the first half. I tell you what, come close 60th minute, I was liking them again when they were working their way back in the game. But they lost some big men last week as well. I think Aloe still is out, I believe. And also Paseka. He's out with a knee injury for a few weeks as well. So not looking good for them up front. Not a very strong forward pack there, boys.
No, and one thing about Brisbane, they do have some handy forwards, particularly Manly, Marty Tapau, who's actually playing some good football because he's actually on the move too. And he's starting to rev up a little bit, so it could be fairly hard to match he and Sean Kepi to start it. Ethan Bullimore's playing good, but I tell you what, boys, there were people going down like flies last week. Andrew Davey, unfortunately, he's a late bloomer. He's just come back from an ACL, 4 games in, he's ruptured the AC in his shoulder. So,
just looking there too, Olakau'atu.
Suspended,
say that.
So he's gone. So yeah, they're depleted. That's for sure.
I think after the result from the South game last week too, they're out for blood. They've got to do something this week to put himself back up in that a predominant top 6 finishing side for this year. If they can't do some damage this week, I think they're in big trouble for the rest of the season. You boys got anything else? So I'm going to
Tane Milne. As basically, so listening to the Big Sports Breakfast this morning, they interviewed Damien Cook, and he said the way Latrell has not missed, since he's been injured, he has not missed a training session. Apparently, he's the Jedi Master just floating around the apprentice at the backside of the field and has 100% taken Blake Tuff under the wing and just he's teaching him the ropes. So I tell you what, when he's back, I think Joshy Mansell might get a tap on the shoulder and told to go elsewhere. So you can't not have him in the side, you know, and he's only just going to absorb that wisdom, and I think he'll be a really good player.
I was reading today that the hamstring problem that he had was from his right knee. So he had a left hamstring problem for compensating for his knee.
Is that right?
So I don't think it was as bad as what it is. I prefer for the hamstring issue. It's more that right knee that has to get looked at and get fixed up so he's fit.
Oh, Dr. Physio over there.
I get all the news.
Hit us with your malt.
Mate, this one, very, very favouring South for this game. So I've only done 3 legs, anytime try scorers. Conservative, but the price through TopSport. So, big Kalama Tungi. Now, he scores nearly every week. There's been a couple of the last few weeks I haven't put him in, and he's scored. So I've got him in this week, so you better get across, brother. Damien Cook and Campbell Graham. So all those 3 anytime try scorers, $60.68.
Daddy.
Nice.
That's going to be a very nice return.
Big
Boys,
stretch.
I just put those 3 anytime try scorers into another betting app. $45.
There you go.
I'm not going to say who it is. You can work that out for yourself, but there's a big difference there when it comes to TopSport. So head on over and check out their odds because they are amazing, I guarantee you.
That's $20 in every $1.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Basically. It reminds me when I went to Thailand, 21 to 1.
How much it cost you for an R&T or?
Good memories. Mate, how dare you?
It was 15.
I put a few bets on with TopSport over the weekend for the footy and big Solomona. For Melbourne there, anytime try scorer price, I won't say the other agency, but TopSport were, I think it was $1.40, $1.50 more for anytime try scorer
right?
price. So it went from low 4s up to mid 5s through betting through TopSport.
Check them out.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Awesome odds.
All right, let's crack on, boys. Saturday, 3 p.m, Warriors up against the Raiders. This one could be an awful game. 3 p.m. at Moreton Daily Stadium. Both teams coming off horrible losses last week. Warriors outsiders $2.05. Raiders are the favourites at $1.77. The line is set at 1.5, so I think it's going to be a close game. Warriors at the plus for $1.95 and the Raiders at the minus for $1.85.
DWZ's out.
Yeah, did you see that concussion? Oh my goodness.
The lights are out before he even hit the ground.
Oh, and then he would have got knocked out again when he hit the ground. Big Nelson's knee hitting you. That is scary.
Josh Curran as well.
Yeah,
a big loss for them.
Yeah,
Big
Josh,
loss.
he's been
He'll
playing
be out for a few weeks too. MCL, I think.
some terrific football. MCL, yeah, he'd be minimum
4 to
5,
6 probably,
5 or thereabouts. So, boys, if the Raiders can match their intensity and their performance that they put up in the first half last week against Penrith, I think they should go very close to winning this. The only problem is, boys, it's more than a 40-minute game.
Yeah, that 40 minutes up against Penrith was good, but they might be able to do that up against a side that isn't Penrith. You know what I mean?
They don't grind them and
exactly
and burn
right.
them like
so.
yeah.
And the Warriors aren't playing very good football at all. I think they'll play better than what they did against Melbourne. I think they put the cue on the rack there in about the 55th minute, probably 40th minute by the sounds of it. But the game got away. But there's been some good players for the Warriors. Jesse Arthurs is one for me on loan, I think, from the Broncos. He's been playing really good. And also for Noah Blake, he's just solid up front.
Well, he was terrific for Manly last year, and unfortunately they let him go. But
Halfway through, yeah.
But by all means, it's a good game for the Warriors if you're a Warriors supporter, or if you just like the Warriors at all. Which at the moment I'd say there'd be plenty of people out there that would with their sacrifice that they've done for us. So
Now, I could be wrong. I'm going off my memory, which is like a sieve. But I'm pretty sure Jesse Arthurs is probably the top try scorer for the Warriors too. He's been getting across quite a bit.
Probably would be. Reece Walsh hasn't got across as much as he did last year. But just looking at the Raiders there, boys, they're stuck with Rapana at 1 and Xavier Savage at 5 with Chance Nickel-Clockstad coming in on the 14. Didn't get much game time last week, I don't think. So hard to see how that hard to tell if that actually worked or not. But they're stuck with it. So this is your multi, I think, Berto.
Oh, is it me? Yeah, right.
Correct,
I was
yes.
too busy looking at it. Is too. I was sorry. Boys, I was listening. I was looking at the team list. Boys, I'm going for the Raiders to win head-to-head. Nick Kotrick, anytime try scorer. And I'm going to have the Canberra Raiders to score the first try of the game. Boys, that's going to be $5.06. Easy three. $5.
Those teams to score first, always a double-edged sword because,
That's the old...
you either bet's over real quick or that first 10 minutes you're on edge. It's great.
That first 8 minutes where you've got the first try to be scored in 7 minutes and 59 seconds or less. Yeah. And someone makes a break down the line about 4 minutes in and the sweat starts running. But first team to score, I think it's going to be Canberra. As I said, if they start like they started against Penrith last week, I think they should go close.
Moving along to the next game, boys. Dogs versus the Roosters, Saturday, 5:30 at Accor Stadium there in Sydney. Dogs outsiders, $4.40. Head-to-head up against the Roosters, $1.22. The line is set at 12.5. Get the Doggies at the plus for $1.85 or the Roosters at the minus for $1.95. Both these teams coming off losses as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
After last week's performance, the Dogs will get a win here.
Reverse.
They got well, the 1 week I don't, they'll probably fucking win.
Could be an upset.
Now with Tupou gone, they put Kevin Nguama back out there on the wing. Obviously, I'm not a coach. If that was me, I'd be moving Momorowski into the number 2 and putting Adam Kieran there into number 3. Boost up the kicking, boost up the tackling, boost up the size of those centres as well. I just don't have much faith in that Nguama. I just think Tedesco's not playing his best. The only one that's really having a good red-hot crack is probably Joey Manu.
Agreed.
Suwali, he hasn't been playing too bad. Semi Walkers and Kiri have been doing bits, but that means bits, so they're not putting in for the whole 80. Verrills, he's been... Anyway, another story.
I don't think he's match fit. He hasn't played. I heard a stat today. He's only played 21 games in the last 3 years. With all the injuries, had detached retina, ACL, something else, shoulder.
I'd be running Drew Hutchison in at 9, and they've got Ben Marsky on the reserves there at 20. They should drop him just back to reserve grade full time. Fucking useless.
It might be because of
the honest truth.
Well, it might be because of his defence, and that's maybe why they haven't done it. But Lockie Lamb in there at number 9. Maybe as a number 14 coming on in around the tired forwards. I could see him causing some havoc.
I was just about to say, I've been moving Lockie Lamb into that 14 spot and moving Hutchison into the 9. Virills, have a rest, brother.
Joey Manu's been great. I like how he's been roving into the middle too, looking for the ball.
Chasing the ball.
Gets him out of that centre position. He's dangerous, ball in hand, just needs it as much as he can get, I reckon.
Now, did you see him, even though they lost though, he marked that Moses Sully all game. Every time he touched the ball, Manu was up in his face, putting pressure on him. It was really good to watch that part of the game. Yeah, bloody oath.
Multi-wise, yours again,
Yeah,
Birdo.
This is me, boys. Roosters head-to-head. The points will be over 39.5. Tedesco to score at any time. And I'm going to go to the Roosters to be the first team to score again in that one, $5.12.
No love for the Dogs? No Josh Adokar getting across? He got across last week?
That was against the Broncos. Yeah, I don't know. I think that regardless of what you say, Ches, I still think that the Roosters are class. I think they're just
they are.
They're just just waiting to erupt.
Last week was just absolutely fucking disgraceful.
But I said it. I called it last week. I said it's amazing what the emotions can do to a side. For example, Parramatta getting rolled on the Easter Monday, the massive build-up of the Battle of the West, the emotion, and they rolled us. And Anzac Day is huge, absolutely huge for emotion. So
Bit like you, mate.
yeah, me in general, not it.
Next game, boys, Saturday, 7:05 p.m. up in Darwin, Eels versus the Cowboys. I think this could nearly be the game of the round. Could be proven very wrong by the end of it, though. Eels $1.29 favourite. As Tristan said, the Cowboys are $3.80 outsiders. Line set at 10.5. As we record, Eels at the minus for $1.90 and Cowboys at the plus also for $1.90. Should be hot up there, boys, in Darwin. Wonder if they get a drinks break at the 20-minute mark. What do you reckon?
They probably should. I'll H&S, mate. If I was up there, they'd be on the 20-minute having a bit of a sip. Maybe even bring out the old box of oranges like they used to back in the day.
In soccer, how good is under 10s? They still do that in the round ball?
Not in
First
my
grade?
not in
They
my
should.
room.
Bring
Hey,
it back. If they bring it back, I'll come play for you.
right, mate. I'll try and make sure of it.
Have a talk to the management for me.
I will. I'll talk to myself. I am management. Just bringing up the forecast here, gentlemen. On Saturday, it's going to be 33 large.
Saturday night, it would be about
Saturday night, so it'll probably be
27
about,
110% humidity.
yeah, 100%. And a lot of juice running off the boys. But it's good to see they go up there. Parramatta bouncing off a really good win. More so a really good defensive effort to only concede 2 points. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for that, they would have been held scoreless. The Knights who are struggling at the moment. Having said that, too, we spoke about it with Tristo. We spoke about it ourselves. These conditions and this sort of track probably suits the Cowboys more. The only thing I don't know that they can match Parramatta forwards. But having said that, as much as it hurts to say, because the cake's on my face, but young Chatty Townsend, he played some damn good football up there to Cowboys. Scotty Drinkwater, freak. And I tell you what, when the hammer comes back, there's another selection debacle.
I was looking for the hammer this round. I thought he might have been back, but he's still a few weeks off, I believe. No changes to either side. Arthur retains to 6 and Dill Brown out at centre. How'd that go? I didn't see the game last week. How'd it go?
It wasn't exactly the most fluent, you'd say, but they did interview Dylan Brown afterwards, and Dylan Brown just laughed. He said, "Mate, I'll do anything anything for the side. If I'll just do as I'm told.
Yeah,
if they want me to play 6, if they want me to play 4." Mate, he said, "I'll do anything for the side," sort of thing, which was a good attitude to have.
And just real quickly, what's going to happen to Scott Drinkwater when the hammer comes back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez, I tell you what, he'd be hard to lose. He's won.
Who's playing 14 for the Cowboys?
Jake Granville?
You nearly have to... Oh, I like Jakey Granville too, so I don't know.
Who are their wingers? Oh, Kyle Felt. You can't catch. Off you go, brother.
Kyle Felt and...
Taller guy, but...
Barry Talungi.
Yeah, but see, Feltz hasn't been playing... He's been playing pretty good.
It's one of those things. Don't change something that's not broken. You
need the
don't
hammer
fix-
in there, though.
Yeah.
You got to have him in there.
He's damn good. He's
Drinkwater's
powerful.
been
He's
playing
quick.
well.
Yeah.
Good
You never
headache,
know.
Good headache to have.
It
Tough
could be.
decision.
It could be one of those things where they.
Maybe we might get our listeners and viewers. Anyone's got an answer for that?
Yeah,
Send it to the socials.
Absolutely.
Malt.
First half, over 19.5 points. Hayes Perham to score the first try of the game. Parramatta to win 13 plus. That's $18.71.
So Hayes for the first try score.
First try score of the
Yeah,
game.
right,
Yeah, I'm going to
nice.
stick with one. I
71.
had Corey Oates last
He only
week.
just missed it too.
Yeah,
He was the third try score.
by
I
a
think.
bee's whisker, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to have another one of them. So Hayes Perham anytime, first time.
You know, I like
First
my
try score.
Sean Lane. Action, he got the first try last week. I had him on for an anytimer.
I was having a
shut
sip
him on
with
for
you.
first. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were there then, weren't
I
you?
was having a sip. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, crack through these last two games, boys. We're running out of time. We've got the Knights up against the Storm. Knights were hopeless last week, and Storm were amazing. This should be a walk in the park for the Storm. This one's Sunday, 2 p.m. at McDonald Jones Stadium, so up there in Newcastle again. $8.50 if you do like the Knights for the bounce back. $1.07 for the Storm. The line is set at 20.5. A big line there. Plus for the Knights at $1.90, and the minus for the Storm also $1.90. Gagai's out. Cheekboney we out for a few weeks, and just looking at the Storm there, boys. Wishart returns on the bench as well.
Rod?
His son actually. So, should be another shellacking, boys. You think? I can't see him putting 70 on, but I can see like a 44-10.
I was just going to say, will it be a point a minute again? Probably not, because I don't think Newcastle's going to get many points. I won't get as many as the Warriors done. Mate, this is going to be like 50 or 60 to to 6 or something. I think this is going to be another massive game for Melbourne. Their for and against is going to go through the roof after this.
Knights have lost 5 in a row, haven't they?
Yeah,
They're struggling.
The pressure's on there, boys.
They beat Roosters round 2.
Round 1, wasn't it?
Or round one, sorry?
Round 1, and then they've won one of the game, I think.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, right. Boys, I've got one query about this. How, in God's name, has Bradman Best been brought up with Origin talks?
Yeah, no.
So they've lost. So put it this way. This is the way I see it. They've lost 5 games on the trot, and he ain't been close to being their best player.
Has he been in the talk since that?
Oh, 100%.
I know he was last year
100%.
and sort of the start of this year.
Reading articles in the Telegraph and stuff today.
That's why you don't read Telegraph.
And they're pushing
Was it
for
Buzz?
It was actually. Oh, Buzzy boy. Boys, I tell you what, how does his name even get mentioned in there?
Yeah, not this year anyway.
No.
Not this year.
3 names
Only
will do
19
in
or
there.
something.
Turbo, Talakai, Stags.
100%.
He's not going to fucking get over there.
No, yeah, exactly
No
right.
way.
No. And Stephen Crichton come over him as well before that.
What happened?
Are you going to have a run?
All over his face. My Moldy, Storm, heavy. Storm head-to-head. Xavier Coates, Pap Smear, and Brendan Smith to get across.
Jeez.
Anytime try scorers, all of those, $7.69. I like that price for that bet, boys.
The price or just the 69 part at the back of it?
Oh, at the back. Like that as well.
That's enough of
shout
that.
out to our mums that are watching. Next game, last game of the round, Dragons versus the Tigers, Sunday, 4:05 p.m. at Wynn Stadium, one of the best stadiums in the competition, I feel. Boys, the Dragons are the favourites at $1.58. Tigers outsiders $2.40. The line is set at 4 neat, as Tristo touched on. Get the Dragons at the minus for $1.90, or the Tigers at the plus for also $1.90. Both teams coming off victories last week.
Yeah,
I would not have watched this game 2 weeks ago, maybe even 1 week ago.
Damn will be.
Possibly won't watch it this week. It just depends. No, should be watching. Should be a good game.
So Tigers beat the Rabbitohs last week in a field goal thriller. Who'd St George beat?
We all know that answer, mate. Don't need to be a fucking clown on the show.
It'll actually be a damn good game.
I don't
think it'll be. I don't think it'll be good, like quality wise, but I think it'll be fairly exciting.
This is what I said to Clint earlier, just before you rocked up. I said, this will be one of those games. It'll be good because of the hype of it all.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be one of those shit games? It'll be like 10-6 with about 25 handling errors for both sides.
Could go either way. And that's,
Yeah,
that's
balls
why you,
kicked out on
That's
the
why you'll
full.
tune in to watch.
Yeah.
A few changes there, boys. Jack Bird is named, as Tristan said, but might not play. Jaden Suey's out for a couple of weeks with that ankle injury. And Dane Laurie also out for the Tigers. He'll be out for a few weeks as well with that knee injury. So a bit of shifting around. I won't go through them all.
Tarek Sims
we're running
back
out of
too.
time. So yeah, Big Sims, he played all right last week too. Boys, I'll hit you with my multi to round this game out. I've got total points over 38.5. I think there'll be plenty scored. Nofaluma and Ravalawa both to get across as well. Anytime try scorers. $6 on the dot. So if you do like that,
That's not bad in a game that realistically, because I tell you what, their attack's not too bad, but their defence is atrocious. This could be. That's good odds considering there could be try scorers galore.
I think so. Also, boys, we've got the leftover money for our charity bet, $30. A couple of weeks ago, you had the Queen Elizabeth. Last week, Ches tried to pick the round unsuccessfully. So it's over to me to spend this $30. And what I'm going to do, boys, I'm going to pick a try scorer in each of the games, but I'm going to break it down the middle. So I'm just going to pick the first 4 games, going to pick a try scorer, and then the last 4 games going to have $15 on each. Hope you stay with me. First up, Talakai, Taylor May, Alex Johnson, and Jesse Arthurs, all to get across anytime try scorer, $17.39.
Geez, I tell you what, I might be having a dab at that myself.
At that or at me?
Both.
And in the second half of that leg, so separate bet, I'm going to have Joey Manu, Sean Lane, Xavier Coates, and Ken Mamalo, all to get across as well. Anytime try scorers, $26.89. So $15 on each of those bets. So hopefully we can get one of those up. We had a pretty good punt last week between you and me, didn't we?
Yeah, hey, it's a 3-man show, but I tell you what, it's a 2-man army.
Always come good towards the end. I'm going to actually combine all them and have a big 8-leg multi.
Oh, that'd be about $65, I reckon, at least.
It'll be juicy.
That's about all we've got time for this week, boys. Anything else before we do wrap her up?
No, I'm pumped. I'm loving football at the moment.
Can't get
Loving
enough.
it. Like, I'm serious. I generally don't really tune into the littler sort of games, back and forth sort of thing. But I certainly made a point of watching the Raiders game on the weekend. I just love the football. Can't get enough of it.
Good. Thanks to Whitebull again for the sponsorship and TopSport. They've been absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, if you're having a punt on the weekend, jump onto their app or onto their website, use the SGM code, sign up there, get your deposits in, and look at those odds because they are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, make sure you use that SGM too.
Yeah, SGM podcast is the code. When you sign up, there's a little scroll thing. You can select us. You can type it in. Just let them know that you found them through us, and we really appreciate that. Until next week, gamble responsibly, enjoy the football, and don't eat your soup with a fork.